supply and demand. So noon may time na umakyat ang garlic, may time umakyat ang ilang produkto, I think bigas. Pero if you look at even in the Iligan City area na malapit sa kaguluhan sa Marawi, yung mga presyo doon ay napaka-steady, nasa 30 to range ng 35 pesos per kilo to a high of 49 pesos per kilo. So hindi gumagalaw siya kahit nung may time na at hanggang ngayon na may kaguluhan. At ang monitoring po namin ay consistently done every week. And even if you track it, talaga hong napaka-steady. And if you remember, merong issue pa nga noon yung sinabi ng DTI na hindi na dapat dadaan sa amin yung approval ng SRP dahil wala naman tayo sa price control system. At ang may nagsasabi na tataasan lahat ng presyo, sa base sa survey ay talagang wala pa rin tumataas. Kasi napakalakas ng competition lalo na dun sa mga mga categories na nagko-compete sa mga delata, sa pasta, even yung talking about the Noche Buena products. Nung tinignan po namin, unfortunately, ang na-highlight siguro yung 3 brands out of the 10 brands na nagsabing mag-i-increase ng 1 or 2 pesos. Pero hindi na-highlight yung mga 7 na nagsabing hindi sila mag-i-increase. Kaya ang talagang pinaka-storya talaga doon, actually, ay even for the looking at the Noche Buena products, talagang walang price increase na, in fact, during the Christmas holidays, mapapansin niyo napakarami ng mga bundling activities and promo activities because everybody's trying to grab market shares from each other. Like if you talk of delata, pasta, nakabundle ang sauce, mga cheese, nakasama rin minsan doon. Pare-pareho po at hindi tumataas. And magagaranti ko yon pumunta tayo sa grocery, talagang very competitive yung presyo, lalo na sa mga kategorya na napakadami ng brands. Away-away ho yun. Kanya-kanyang pakulo, promo, bundling, at yun ho yung marami nangyayari. So, siguro tingnan natin yung pangkalahatan. Yung talagang average. Baka kasi anecdotal yung iba na may sinasabi, may nagtaas. Totoo, sa ibang tindahan siguro. Pero pumunta kayo sa regular market talaga, palengke, supermarket, kung saan ang presyo ho na minomonitor natin ay napaka-steady.
Follow-up question? Okay, other issue?
Follow-up, sir. Secretary Lopez. Sure. Sir, what's your barometer or your indicator of the investor confidence? Kasi Undersecretary Abella had been saying of the rise on the local stock market, the PSE, where in fact this is impacted or affected by the external factors. Where in the other side, there are reports that the foreign direct investment dropped. So how can we reconcile those two ends, Secretary?
Okay, ganoon. In fact, yan sa recently na nababalita about foreign direct investments, the way we look at it po kasi, na-highlight na in foreign direct investment, maraming component, equity, reinvestments, mga placements, ano. And unfortunately, na-highlight yung equity part. But the way we look at it kasi, foreign direct investments, lahat ng investments kasi, lahat ng components na yon will create jobs, will also have multiplier effects. So, sa amin, nung tinitingnan namin yung galaw ng FDI, yes, may drop siya, minus 14%. At masasabi natin na these are all really just a matter of timing. Kasi tinignan namin lahat ng mga indication. For example, may study, even from the Japanese Chamber of Commerce, end 2016, sinabi doon, sa mga all ASEAN countries, actually nandito yata yun, or wala dito. All ASEAN countries, Philippines yung may pinakamataas percentage na sinasabi nila, we have a firm business plan na pupunta kami sa Pilipinas. Another set of indicators, yung mga base na lang to sa mga inward investment missions that we are receiving at the Board of Investments. Comparing January to September 2017 over January to September 2016, may mga 25% increase in visitors and interest, investment interest. Sa tingin namin doon, ito talaga, they are all in different stages of studies, feasibility studies, and just to let you know, some are already coming already, may tapos na yung kanilang study. I just had a recent visitor, chairman ng a big Chinese company, the biggest real estate from China, but in coming to the Philippines, he has other businesses. Coming to the Philippines, ang interest nila magtayo ng iron and steel facility na gusto rin nating buuin yung industriya na yon. So meron tayong indications from local investors na may mga investment in iron and steel, meron din from China. So lahat yan are all adding up. What I'm saying here is that beyond FDI even, if we look at local and foreign, yun yung sinasabi natin, yung growth nandun din. Kasi ang local ngayon ang talagang sobrang lakas because the confidence is so much na ang local registration ng investments natin ay 33% up January to September this year versus last year. So pag local and foreign ang pinag-usapan, ang laki ng growth. And that shows really the confidence. So masabi ko, from the foreign might be a matter of timing na nag-aaral pa sila, and they are all conducting feasibility studies. Those who have come over and visited the BOI. Investment delegations, dumadami. And, whenever we go out, parati po nilang sinasabi, oh, by the way, before I go there, also, there is this one big investment, one-time investment that took place last year. Kaya medyo, kung titignan mo, may extraordinarily mataas yung base nung last year. There's this big investment in a foreign Japanese company buying a bank or invested in a bank here. Doon pa lang $800 million na. More than a 1-month equivalent FDI. So, ang typical FDI, mga 400 million Ganyan. So, or 300 million or more than 2-month equivalent. So, it's an unusually very high base, sabihin na natin. And that's one time. I was about to say that in everywhere we go, pagka tulad ngayon sila, the economic team, managers are in the US. I also came from New York a few weeks ago, and EU and even Germany and Japan. Na pagkausap namin mga business chambers, wala akong nababanggit actually itong mga issues. They're all just bullish on the growth. Ang sinasite nila economic data. Philippines is on a breakout. They wanted to invest in the Philippines of tomorrow, not the Philippines not only of today, because they look at the growth rate at 6.5%. They look at industry growth, manufacturing, solid components, growing at 7 to 8%. That used to be 1% growth only. And even agriculture turned around to 6%, coming from, again, a negative 3%, 4% in previous quarters. Tapos, yung Business Confidence Index, this is another index na pwede natin tingnan. The latest report we got, I think it's 38% positive, Business Confidence Index. Consumer Confidence Index, if you remember, in the early part of 2016 and before that, that used to be a negative number. Now it's positive 10%. So when the Consumer Confidence Index is positive, you can imagine yung business confidence din tumataas kasi alam nilang, willing magbili at tumataas ang purchasing power pag bumababa rin ang unemployment kasi mas maraming employed. So many things happening po. The demographics, 105 million, and so on and so forth. At marami tayong pwedeng bagitin na kung nag-i-invest sila dito kasi sabi nila ang laki ng population, very young, 23 years old average age, employed, growing middle class, going into the Philippines will allow them that market here. Since may ASEAN tayo, FTA will allow them access to market in ASEAN, will allow them access to the market of ASEAN plus 6 other countries, nakapartner ng ASEAN. So dun lang po, they're looking into a much larger sabihin natin target market or population. So that's the reason why a lot of interests are still here. So masabi nating timing lang.
So you just mentioned the interesting word. You said you just came from EU, Germany, US.
Yeah.
So how did they receive you, sir, in light of them being bad-mouthed regularly by the president?
No. Actually, they received as well. I was with the former Senator Ed Angara, former Senate President. The reason why we went there, gusto naming ipakita na we're open to dialogues and we would like to update them on many things because this is in relation to our ability to keep the GSP plus. Because as you know, may mga lumalabas na baka they're concerned, baka mawala yung GSP plus. So pumunta kami to make sure, kasi ngayon may evaluation, October to December. That's why nung September, bumalik kami hindi bumalik. Pumunta kami sa Brussels. Iba pa yung trip nung Germany, more of investment, promotion. But on the Brussels, it's really to update them on the many things happening here, both on the economic side at si Senator Angara handled naman yung mga ibang concerns. And one thing we assured them, una, they appreciated the high-level presence, the open dialogue we reinstituted. They appreciated also, what we told them kasi, please don't be carried away by the international media releases na mababahala ka talaga, mako-concern ka pag yun ang nabasa mo. Kasi ano ba yung nare-release sa international media? At syempre, kung may balitang nanggaling dito, lalo na at that time, naalala ko, at the height of yung mga teenagers na mga namatay. So we were telling them na may mga ganong incidents na unfortunately nangyari, but our president, number one, we assured them na ang presidente natin ayaw talaga ng mga abuso na ganon. That's why 1,000 policemen na replace, etc. Lahat ng efforts, may investigation. At tapos sinabi rin natin ng ating country, since we're even one of the signatory dun sa Convention on Human Rights, na talagang up to now, we adhere to the principle of protecting human rights. In fact, natuwa sila na yung sinabi namin, yung adherence to human rights is just one thing. The other thing is we mentioned, our president is a president na ayaw niya may naapi, di ba? Nahalata naman ninyo na galit siya pag naapi yung mahirap, yung maliliit na tao. So, kinuwento namin na kaya nga ngayon, tuloy yung program natin sa micro SME, tulungan i-empower yung maliliit. May CCT program tayo, may universal healthcare para dun sa walang pambili ng gamot. Meron tayong free education na recently passed at sinuportahan. Meron pang free irrigation na tinutulungan talaga yung mga farmers dahil nararamdaman ng presidente, wala nang ang pambayad dito mga farmers, sisingilin pa ng irrigation. And ganun yung mga programa na pinakita natin na talagang pro-poor ang ating presidente, ina-empower yung mga unempowered. So we presented these stories. Si Senator Angara also mentioned that our president has welcomed the setting up of mga monitoring centers, which they appreciated because sabi nila that shows na wala tayong tinatago, talagang willing tayong sumama sila, mag-monitor sila ng mga itong campaign natin sa anti-illegal drugs. So we are basically correcting misperceptions. Sabi namin, you look at the real numbers. Yung na-highlight sa international media are the isolated cases, a few of them, but you forgot yung 108,000 na peaceful arrest hindi na-highlight, hindi lumalabas. Napakadaming peaceful arrest and ang crime rate has gone down. So these are the benefits. That's the reason why we are still getting very good satisfaction rating. I mean, the president is getting very good satisfaction rating because of all these things na pag nasa baba, ang minonitor mo, nandun talaga yung nararamdaman yung improvements sa mga kanto-kanto nila, neighborhood nila, wala nang siga-siga, wala nang nango-hold up at nabawasan talaga dahil nga you were bringing back discipline and law and order.
Okay, next question, Leila Salaveria of Inquirer.
For Spokesperson Abella, good morning, sir. Where does the relationship between the Philippines and the European Union stand now in light of the President's statements yesterday?
Well, first and foremost, you have to understand that he was the President's expression of outrage was in reaction to statements by this 7-member delegation of the International Delegates of Progressive Alliance, I believe, which falsely portrayed itself as an EU mission. So these delegations are responsible statements protesting the alleged. The perception was it demeans our status as a sovereign nation, to which the President was reacting to. Okay, so the call of the President must be taken in this light. For so long as the President has tolerated these undue interferences, he has decided that these must stop, if only to preserve the integrity and dignity of our states. He was actually, in other words, he was actually outraged at that particular situation.
Yes, sir, but he repeatedly mentioned the European Union. So are we going to issue a clarification to the bloc?
To what?
Apologize to, because he repeatedly mentioned the EU. He name-checked them, sir. He didn't refer to the parliamentarians.
And then, like, there's some conversation going on behind it. All right, so.
Actually, maganda yung sinabi ng EU.
Go ahead.
Actually, if I may, di ba just today or I think yesterday, the EU mentioned hindi kanila yung grupo na yon, and hindi nila mission yon, and so they disowned it, and what they highlighted is that a lot of collaborative, positive efforts and programs they're doing with the Philippine government.
So, sir, in short, we're good. I mean, the Philippines and the EU, how are we right now? We're good.
No, yung reaction ng presidente tulad ng sabi ni Sec. Abella is really on that instance na may itong grupo na to na parang nakikialam na naman sa atin. Nakakagalit talaga yon. Kasi wala dapat interference. Maingat din ng totoong EU ng mga kausap namin. Maingat sila. If I may,
Yes,
Mr. Sec. In fact, nung nandun kami, na-notice namin ni Senator Angara, they were, hindi sila yung lecturing type. They were actually saying, tell us how we can help. Ganun ang sinasabi nila as we were describing the anti-illegal drug campaign, for example, and all these issues. After we've explained, given them the correct set of numbers, they're telling us, how can we help? So medyo nagulat din kami doon na they're not really into lecturing and into meddling. And they're saying that how can we help? In fact, we called their attention to that. That's a nice that's a nice offer, that's a nice reaction. Ang approach nila, how can we help? Hindi yung, why are you doing this? Hindi ganon. And we met the parliamentarian members, some leaders there. Yung iba, if you remember, may 4 na nagpunta dito na EU Parliament members recently. Sila Miss Soraya Post, yung isa doon, and we also met her again, and she's very happy and pleased with the visit. She was telling us again, and that actually isa siya sa nag-invite sa amin to go there to present what we presented, kasi she liked hearing the way we presented it, yung more correct numbers as well.
Yeah, there.
So, sir, what happens to the president's warning yesterday that he may expel the ambassadors of the...
Again, that makes reference to the 7-man team. Basically that. I mean, the focus was on that, and again, the European delegation has already issued a clarification that it cleared the air. In other words, that they're not the 7-man team was not the EU itself. Okay, so basically, it's a lesson for us also for the need for critical reporting and reading of the news. So. The president reacted as any leader would when national sovereignty is violated. So we call upon also for the media to heed EU's request for correct reportage.
So we are not, since the parliamentarians don't represent the EU, we are not expelling the ambassadors.
We are not. This is not in reference to the ambassadors. Okay.
What do you mean? Kasi because the president...
Yes.
Mentioned the threat to expel.
In other words, in the conversation, when he was expressing himself, it was pointedly, it was assuming that this was the situation. Okay.
So since this is not the situation,
okay.
we will not expel them.
There's no actual reporting, there's no actual follow-up on that matter at this stage.
Joseph Morong, GMA 7.
So I'll try to rephrase. If I were a European ambassador, should I get out of the country now?
There's no need. There's no directive to do that.
Sir, yung pong kay Secretary Lopez, yun pong mga ganyan na pronouncement ni President na yesterday, how do you see that affecting our relationship with particularly the EU bloc?
Kung naka-clarify that those are not coming from EU, and that, of course, the Irish President was referring to that particular incident na napakasama nga nung dating dahil may naka-front page pa na may mga dalang placard. It's really interference. So, kung hindi naman nagre-refer doon and hindi na relevant yung sinabi siguro ng Presidente, yung galit niya siguro hindi mababawasan kung malalaman din niya na hindi nga ganun yung nangyari. At pag ganun naman, naintindihan na EU na. Kaya nga, mabilis silang sumagot. They responded quickly in saying that these guys are not our mission, are not official mission are not from the EU. But siyempre pagka mayroong, just like any country, pag may sinabing, let's say, padiretso sa kanila, referring to them, they're a bit concerned. Minsan sinasabi lang nila, sometimes we're surprised with the statements of the president. We are concerned, but they're trying to analyze it also. That's why they're also careful. If you talk to the real EU parliamentarians, the officials, they're more careful. They're not. They don't want to appear interfering. That's the. I guess they're learning also. They know that we are a small country, sensitive in our sovereignty, and we want to protect that. And that's why they're very careful. And their approach now is more collaborative.
So, sir, ibig bang sabihin yan, medyo misinformed si Presidente?
It's not a question of being misinformed. Basically, yun ang... Come again?
Misled siguro by certain reports?
Basically, he was reacting to what he was reading. Okay. He was reacting to what he was reading. So it's not a question of being misinformed. That means to say he was being fed wrong information. But based on...
Kung ano yung nasa news. Frankly, kami rin Ako, when I saw that, ba't ito na naman to? Sino to? Kasi when we talk to the guys in the EU, hindi naman ganyan yung dating nila, yung approach nila Parang tingin ko nga, somebody asked them to come over at manggalit Sorry?
You have a theory of...
Tingin ko lang, Kasi bakit all of a sudden may mga dumating na ganyan at parang nagpo-provoke or nanggagalit. And yet, hindi naman sila official representative, So, but if you look at the papers, and at least during that report yesterday, nakita, the other day yata, na talagang kahit sinong Pilipino na gusto mo may sovereignty ka, magagalit ka din. Magagalit ka talaga. Ito na naman, makikialam. Ganyan. So,
sir, meron bang efforts to probably explain the issue to the President better? In terms of context, sir, meron bang efforts kay Presidente na medyo i-explain sa kanya?
The President is aware of the nuances, has been aware of the nuances, and I suppose there will be other venues in which he will be able to express that more clearly, especially referring more clearly to that particular group.
Specifically to that.
Prior to that, Mr. Sec, actually when we were there, that was the time also when I think that the Philippines, I don't know, through the DFA, extended the invitation to the EU President, Donald Tusk, to come to Manila during the ASEAN Summit. So parang ang ganda nga nung timing din parang talagang may normalcy, yung relationship or strengthening. So up to that point, kaya we were all surprised with this group's visit.
Thank you, sir. That's it for me.
Okay. Ina Andalong, CNN Philippines.
Spokesman Abella. Sir, as you mentioned, the President was misled by
Not
what
misled,
he read.
that
He was
way.
talking from
He was responding to what he had read.
He was coming from a different context, basically. Yes. But that does not negate the fact that the President, the country's top diplomat, basically, cursed at the EU. Now, whether or not he meant it for another group, doesn't Malacañang feel or see the need to correct those tirades made again by the country's top leader?
I'm sure these things are being clarified directly to persons concerned.
You mentioned that maybe there would be another venue for the President to express clearly what he possibly meant. Does that mean that if any apology or clarification is coming, it would come directly from him?
I suppose all venues will be exhausted regarding that matter.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any more questions? Other issues? Okay, follow up, yeah.
Other issue na, sir.
Yes.
So you mentioned earlier regarding the Pulse Asia survey that there is a demolition job that you said apparently did not work. But can you give us an assessment on what you think this demolition job is? Can we say that you're looking at the so-called yellows as those behind this?
Well, basically, we're just saying that there seems, even as Secretary Ramon Lopez has said, has made reference to that, there seemed to be time, or whoever it's coming from, there seems to be some form of orchestrated information, disinformation, that is in operation.
So you're not eyeing a certain group.
It's not for us to speculate. It's not for us to speculate. But there seems to be that particular effort in order to put the president and his administration in a particular light.
Is that the only end goal that you're seeing, or is there something else? Do you think that the end game is to oust the president? Because just recently the defense secretary said that he doesn't see any serious destabilization plot against the president.
Well, for all it's worth, at least there's an attempt to shake the foundations. But apparently, as the Pulse Asia rating has shown, that there seems to be an enormous amount of appreciation for the president, not just from a particular isolated report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Question from Pia Gutierrez of ABS-CBN, and one last question from Ramon Tinaza of Bombo Radio.
Sir, in his speech yesterday, the president actually, parang he gave the impression that his directive to give the PDEA the sole power to conduct drug operations is a move to satisfy the critics of the drug war. Is this the reason behind this directive, sir? To satisfy those those critics behind the drug war?
Well, I don't know if it's meant to satisfy, but it's meant to. The president is very, in a sense, he's shown how democratic he is, and he's allowed himself to, and he listens to people, and he's saying that, okay, if this is, if this is the way to go, that you feel more comfortable to go this way, then let's go that path.
In his speech then yesterday, he said that he told the public that parang basically if you don't if you think that things are not going as good or as well as you hope this thing will go, then don't look at me. So parang in a way, sir, is he also gave the impression that he gave the directive to prove a point.
He gave the directive in order to accommodate, apparently to accommodate those who think the campaign against drugs should be conducted otherwise.
Last, sir, the president has repeatedly mentioned and discussed yung scale and scope of the drug problem.
Yes.
Is he confident, sir, that PDEA has enough manpower and resources to undertake this big campaign, sir, considering how big the drug problem is in the Philippines?
Well, as he said, as he pointed out, if the perception is that PDEA would be more acceptable in doing the campaign, waging the campaign, then let's see how it goes. That's the president. That was the tenor of the president's statement.
Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes. In other words, let's find out if this is the way you think it should go.
So parang mukhang hindi naman pinag-aralan yata, sir. Kung ganun yung ano niya, let's see how it goes.
And then, no, he was backed up by facts and figures, right? He pointed it out. He pointed out he's very well aware of the facts and figures. For example, the PDEA has, for example, he said, has lesser deaths under less than death related operations. And so he says, if this seems to be more accommodating to the mood of the times, then let's see how it goes.
Okay, last
Thank you,
question.
sir.
All right.
Sir, but does PDEA or Director General Aaron Aquino enjoys the full trust and confidence of the president to really deliver and carry out that very mission?
Well, according to his interview this morning, they've known each other for 22 years. And so regarding trust, I imagine that there's a modicum of trust there. However, the capability, it's now that they're the lead, even the PDEA chief said he wishes that the 900 million would be directed to them, but he won't ask for it. So in other words, any major campaign will require a period of adjustment, so let's see how it goes.
So, and from the order, don't we sense any sarcasm to the order of the president when he says that this is what you want, but if something happens that you don't like, don't look at me?
So are you
Can't
concerned
we
about
not-
the sarcasm?
Yeah, can't we digest or sense any sarcasm with that tone of the
Well,
president?
I'm sure that the president has allowed his full range of emotions, but he's making a decision regarding that.
And last point, sir.
Yes.
This is categorically, the order is not a graceful exit or to cover up that apparent or seeming or alleged failure of the PNP in the anti-drug war.
I think that's that's presumptive to think that it's a grace up, it's a graceful cover up. No, it's simply a response to a situation. If it were a business, it's a corporate decision.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, follow up from Deo de Guzman of Aramen, and then Joseph.
Morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, now that the president has given the power of to the PIDEA,
Yes.
whole power for the anti-drug war, how would the government support PIDEA? We know that PIDEA has only less than 2,000 personnel, including the agents. Now, how are we going to help? How is the government going to help PIDEA in order to implement the very difficult task of fighting illegal drugs in the country?
They still have access to any agency, and they can actually resource whatever support they need from all the other agencies that are available.
But the order said that the sole proprietorship.
They have the sole responsibility for doing that. Okay, they're totally over the whole thing. On the other hand, as Mr. Aquino has made clear, that they have access to resources, and they can call upon those resources if
What
necessary.
resources? What resources, sir?
Well, the resources from other agencies.
But the president has said that all resources will be from PIDEA only.
Kaya nga, but if they so fit, they see fit, as what he said. So in other words, the organization is PIDEA. The organization is PIDEA, and they may call on, if necessary, other.
Are they open to use the president's fund for their operations?
Well, that depends on that. I'm not privy to those things.
Because the PNP has already given up everything to PIDEA, including the information of drugs. And even PNP Chief Director General Ronald Bato de la Rosa is saying that any information regarding illegal drugs would be given directly to PIDEA if given to them. So para hands-off na sila eh. Yun ang ginagawa, ang sinasabi ng PNP eh. So how would the PIDEA get help from other agencies of government if the other agency of government is refusing?
I don't know if the word is refuse. Okay, I think you're already using words that I have not said. Okay, but on the other hand, if let's at this stage, all that is the information that we know and that we have, and it's something that we can clarify later.
Eh, kasi po sir, clear po dun sa memorandum and dun sa batas na sole power lang.
Tama po kayo.
Yes.
Okay, so
How would the
if-
government help? Padadamihin ba natin ang agents ng PIDEA?
that is not within my purview, but we can clarify. We can ask. We'll get back to you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, follow up, Joseph.
Sir, can the PIDEA use the police in their operations?
Okay, having said what I just said, I'll get back to you on that.
So we don't know, sir.
Come again?
We don't know. At this point, we don't know yet.
I will not speculate. Okay, it's not within my purview.
Sir, just going back to the EU, are we going to maybe write the ambassadors to clarify? Of course, they couldn't just rely on news, but rely on on official channels like maybe the DFA. But is there some kind of an explanation from the palace to the EU ambassadors regarding the president's statements?
I suppose those things will be done as needed. Okay, but conversations go between agencies and our partner nations.
Sir, just again on the PIDEA, I remembered. Without the negative sentiment, as far as some killings are concerned, would the president have transferred the power from the PNP to the PIDEA?
That's speculation. It's
No,
not my.
that's a
purview.
question. Without the negative
No,
sentiment.
Without
From your part.
From my part, that would be speculation.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Friday.
All right, we bring back the floor now to ASEC 2B Purisima.
Oh, sige.
Prepared something. Again, I now invite everyone to view the video of Task Force Bangon Marawi Executive Director Undersecretary Cesar Llano showing our initiatives to engage with ulamas and traditional leaders and our IDPs in various evacuation centers, as well as our efforts at providing psychosocial support services to the affected population.
This is Barangay Kampong sa town or municipality of Pantar, Lanao del Norte. Ngayon, itong ginawa dito is just a series of yung parang psychosocial intervention, part ng programa ng Task Force Bangon, kung saan nagsama-sama yung mga ulamas natin, religious leaders, at kasama yung mga traditional leaders, at saka yung sa academe, at saka yung local government units, nagsama-sama. Parang, kung baga sa Tagalog ito, parang pulong-pulong, no? It's just a way of parang nilagyan natin ng diin yung kultura ng kapatid natin mga Maranaos. Pinapaalala sa kanila kung ano itong nangyayari ngayon na kaganapan dito sa Marawi, ano yung at maliwanag sa sinasabi ng mga ulamas at saka traditional leaders na ito ay bahagi ng pagsusubok ni Allah sa kanila. So ito ay nagsisilbi ngayon na parang forum na dapat magkakaisa na naman. Talagang magkakaisa at sinabi ko nga sa kanila, even in my discussion with the ulamas, kaya nagkakaroon ng pagkakataon yung mga kalaban kasi nagkakaroon din sila ng puwang, no? Nagkakaroon sila ng gap before. But ngayon, binabawi nila na magkakaisa sila, tapos paalala sa mga kapatid nilang mga Maranaos na ganito ang buhay ng mga Maranaos, na kailangan palaging tuluyan ang pakipag-usap sa bawat isa at pagmamahala. At hindi lang ito ang katapusan, nagawa na namin sa ibang mga evacuation centers, gagawin ito sa lahat na evacuation centers, and in fact, yung mga LGUs nagsasabi din na magkakandak din daw doon sa kanila. So we hope na mapabilis at maparami natin ito, but we are not just after sa quantity, sa dami, but we are getting the best from the ulama group, the best from the traditional leaders group, and our LGUs, yung si Governor at saka si Mayor. So tuloy-tuloy ito, and we are encouraging everyone to participate kasi maganda ang dating at according to what I gathered, yung feedback, tuloy-tuloyan lang ito at nagpapasalamat ako sa pagtulong ng lahat na grupo dito sa Lanao del Sur. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Happy Friday.
All right. Thank you very much, friends from the media and Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella, DTA Secretary Ramon Lopez, and Civil Defense Assistant Secretary Purisima.